The winds of change have hit Ibrox, and it's impossible not to feel the shift in the air. Danny Roll hasn't even coached his first 90 minutes in charge, and already the impact behind the scenes is sparking reactions. One of the most telling voices so far? Midfielder Theo Isgaard. The Norwegian didn't hold back when asked about the new gaffer's methods, and the message was crystal clear. The standards are rising fast under the Germans' watch. And let's be honest, that's exactly what Rangers have been crying out for this season. Isgaard offered a rare glimpse into the mentality Roll is trying to instill from day one. It's not just about tactics or formations. It's about expectation, intensity, and accountability. According to Isgaard, there's already a different kind of energy buzzing through the training ground. Players are being pushed harder, details are sharper, and the message is that wearing the Rangers shirt means giving absolutely everything, every single day. It might sound cliché, but it's been missing from this squad for far too long. Now, it's easy to get caught up in early optimism when a new face takes over. But the timing here couldn't be more crucial. The fans have had enough. The frustration has been boiling over after a dismal run that saw Russell Martin ousted for a string of lifeless performances. The boos haven't just been about bad results. They've been about the lack of fire, the lack of urgency, the lack of Rangers DNA. That's the challenge Danny Roll walks into, and it's a big one. But based on what we're hearing, he's not shying away from it. In fact, he's embracing it head-on. Former Rangers man Charlie Miller added some extra spice ahead of Roll's first test, warning that tonight's clash with Brann in the Europa League is no walk in the park. And he would know. Miller wore both shirts during his playing days, Rangers and Brann, and he's convinced the Norwegians will be no pushovers. They're sitting comfortably in third place in their domestic league and recently took down Utrecht in Europe. This is not the kind of fixture a new manager wants with just one training session under his belt. But as Miller said himself, Roll doesn't have the luxury of easing in. The fans won't wait. They want to see grit, structure, and progress immediately. Miller also reflected on his own time in Norway, offering a personal touch to the build-up. He spoke warmly about the Brann fans, the culture, and the challenge of adapting to a different footballing environment, something Isgaard himself is living right now. After making the switch from Luton Town over the summer, Isgaard's been on a steep learning curve. The pressure is different. The expectations are relentless. And, as he admitted, playing for Rangers means understanding that second place is simply not acceptable. That mindset might sound brutal to outsiders, but it's part of what makes the Ibrox environment so unique and so demanding. When Isgaard opened his account for Rangers in the dramatic draw against Dundee United last weekend, it was a small personal victory. But that match summed up the club's entire season in one afternoon. Promising in flashes, but ultimately disappointing. A strong first half gave way to a second half collapse. It was chaotic, frustrating, and yet another reminder of how far this squad still has to go. Isgaard's goal was a bright spot, and he's hoping it's just the beginning. His post-match comments showed maturity. He understands what it means to play for this badge, and he's clearly not afraid of the pressure. In fact, he seems to be feeding off it. And maybe that's where Danny Roll comes in. Because if there's one thing Isgaard made clear, it's that this team needed a new direction, a new voice, a new level of demand. He praised former caretaker Stevie Smith for restoring some basic confidence, but the shift under Roll already feels more intense. The freedom Isgaard felt in the last match, getting closer to the box, driving forward, might be a taste of what the new manager is unlocking. But with freedom also comes responsibility. You can't hide at Ibrox. And Roll doesn't seem like the kind of coach who will let that slide. Barry Ferguson also weighed in, giving his take on what Roll needs to do to win over this passionate and impatient fan base. The key? Understand the culture, respect the traditions, and be flexible enough to adapt to the chaos that is Scottish football. It's not just about pretty passing moves and possession stats. Up here, pitches are tighter, opponents dig in deep, and every away trip is a mental test as much as a tactical one. Ferguson knows all about that grind, and he's encouraged by what he's heard so far. Roll seems to get it. He's talked about Rangers' history, he's acknowledged the standards, and he's walking in with eyes wide open. That said, Ferguson didn't sugarcoat it. It's all just talk until the games start. The fans will back you, for now. But respect has to be earned through performances. Results matter. And style matters too. That's the tightrope any Rangers manager walks. and it's not for the faint-hearted. But Roll's background, his time at Sheffield Wednesday, and the flexibility he showed there, switching things up when needed, could serve him well in this chaotic Premiership battleground. As for the squad, it's going to be fascinating to see who thrives under the new regime. Asgard seems up for the fight. He admitted his start to the season was rocky. Inconsistent form, frustrating results. But he believes he's grown into the team and is ready for a fresh start. He's not hiding from criticism. Instead, he's using it as fuel. That's exactly the kind of mindset Roll will be counting on as he tries to stabilize this team and push them back up the table. The last international break came at the perfect time, offering the squad a brief moment to reset and reflect. And now, with the European spotlight looming, it's go time. There's no room for excuses, no space for hesitation. Roll knows that, and so do the players. Tonight's clash in Bergen isn't just about 3 points. It's a chance to set a tone, to make a statement, and to show that the chaos of the past few months is finally starting to give way to something more structured, more determined, more like the Rangers fans expect. As the new chapter at Ibrox begins to unfold, all eyes are on Danny Roll to see how quickly he can stamp his identity on a team that's been crying out for clarity and leadership. But what's striking already, even in these very early days, is how much focus Roll is placing not just on tactics, but on mentality. It's not just about reshaping formations or introducing drills on the training pitch. It's about shifting the entire mindset of the squad. And that starts with raising the bar for what is expected day in, day out. From what players like Asgard are saying, the message is simple. There are no passengers under Roll. Every player is being asked to show urgency, discipline, and a hunger to win every battle on the pitch, and perhaps more importantly, to do it consistently. Because that's what's been missing. We've seen flashes of quality from this Rangers team all season, whether it's in dominant spells of possession or isolated moments of brilliance. But those moments have rarely translated into full performances. And that, more than anything, is what Roll must address first. It's not just about style, it's about resilience. That second half against Dundee United last weekend was a perfect example. For 45 minutes, Rangers were aggressive, fluid, and looked to be on the front foot. But once they conceded, the belief seemed to vanish. That collapse wasn't tactical, it was mental. And Roll knows that if you want to survive in Scottish football, never mind thrive, you need to have a squad that can ride the punches and respond. No sulking, no dropping the heads, just fight. And that's where the culture around the squad becomes so important. You look at the great Rangers teams of the past, the ones who knew how to dig deep when the football got ugly, who could find a result even when things weren't clicking, and they were built on accountability. Leaders all over the park. Roll has inherited a group that, at times, has lacked that kind of backbone. But he's also got players in there who are desperate to prove themselves, and you can see the hunger starting to return. Asgard is clearly one of those players. His honesty about his own form, his willingness to admit that it hasn't been good enough, speaks volumes. That kind of self-awareness is rare in modern footballers, and it's exactly what you need in a dressing room that's going through transition. He's not shying away from the pressure. In fact, he's embracing it. That goal against Dundee United might have come later than he wanted, but it meant something, not just personally, but in the sense that it showed he's ready to take responsibility in big moments. There's also a growing sense that this squad is aware they're playing for their futures. A new manager means a clean slate, but it also means new standards, and anyone not willing to meet them will be left behind. Roll's reputation as a coach who demands intensity is already being felt. Training sessions are reportedly sharper, faster, more focused. And with Europa League football now underway, the need for structure and identity becomes even more urgent. That first European fixture away to Brann is a tough one, no doubt. Bergen is never an easy place to go. Tight pitch, loud crowd, and a team that knows how to make life difficult. But it's also a perfect test. It's the kind of game where we'll learn quickly just how much of Roll's message has sunk in. Will we see a team that knows how to manage the tempo? That knows when to press, when to sit, when to dig in, and when to go for the throat? Or will it be the same old story, a strong start followed by nerves and a drop in intensity? Fans are desperate for answers. They've watched this team drift for months, with no real identity, no sense of direction. Now there's finally someone at the helm who seems to understand the size of the task and the size of the club. Roll's early comments about Rangers traditions have been well received, but let's be honest, talk is cheap at this stage. It's about results. It's about attitude. It's about players fighting for the badge. And it's about finding a way to win games, even when things aren't perfect. Barry Ferguson's take on the situation hits the nail on the head. You can have all the possession and pretty football in the world, but if you can't adapt, if you don't have a plan B, you won't survive. That's especially true in Scotland, where teams come to Ibrox and park the bus with no shame. Where away trips are a battle before the ball even gets kicked. Roll needs to understand that flexibility is key, and by the sounds of it, he does. His background suggests he's not stuck on one rigid philosophy. He's prepared to change it up, to adjust when needed, and that might just be what separates him from his predecessor. It's also worth remembering that Roll isn't walking into a complete rebuild. This squad has talent. There are good players here. What's been missing is cohesion, belief, and proper direction. The hope now is that, with a clearer game plan and a manager who brings intensity from the sidelines, that quality can start to shine through more regularly. Players like Asgard, who have had to learn quickly what it means to play for Rangers, are showing signs that they're ready to take that next step. The dressing room dynamic is also going to be crucial. A new manager can often galvanize a squad, but it can also expose weaknesses. Roll will be watching closely over the next few weeks to see who steps up, not just in games, but in training, in preparation, in attitude. He'll want to build a core group he can trust. And once that's established, the rest of the team will have to rise to that level or risk being left out. That's how proper standards are built, from the inside out. The Europa League is a stage that demands discipline and maturity. One mistake can cost you. And for a manager like Roll, who's only just arrived and is still learning the ins and outs of his squad, the stakes are even higher. But maybe that's a good thing. Maybe being thrown into the fire right away is exactly what this group needs. There's no time to ease in. No time to experiment endlessly. The season is already in motion, and the fans are already watching with sharp eyes. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to get all the exclusive news about Rangers FC. Don't overlook any details about your beloved team. It's crucial for Rangers FC fans. In what's already sending ripples across Scottish football, whispers from inside the corridors of both Canadian and Glasgow football suggest Ryan GAULD has quietly ended his stint with Vancouver Whitecaps and is set to don the famed blue of Rangers. Sources close to the player hint at a move that's less of a shock and more of a long-brewing tale finally coming to fruition. GAULD, often hailed as one of Scotland's most technically gifted midfielders, has reportedly grown restless on the west coast of Canada. While Vancouver fans have cherished his flair and vision, it seems the pull of home, coupled with the lure of playing under the Rangers banner, has been irresistible. Rumor has it that discussions with the Ibrox hierarchy have been underway for weeks, with subtle hints and nods exchanged behind closed doors, all pointing to a deal that could reshape the Rangers' midfield landscape. Insiders suggest the transfer is not merely about GAULD returning to Scottish soil. Rangers are apparently plotting a tactical revamp, aiming to blend youth and guile with the seasoned core of the squad. GAULD's style, intelligent movement, precise passing, and a touch that can unlock the tightest of defenses fits the bill perfectly. While no official announcement has yet landed, murmurs in Glasgow's football circles have all but confirmed the signing, and excitement is quietly bubbling among the supporters. Interestingly, there are whispers that the transfer was expedited by GAULD's desire for a more competitive stage and perhaps a shot at European football, ambitions that Vancouver, despite its growing stature in Major League Soccer, may not fully satiate. Rangers, on the other hand, offer the theater of old firm clashes, the weight of history, and a platform to showcase his talent to a wider audience. Football gossip columns are already speculating on the potential combinations GAULD might form with Rangers' current midfield stars. Will he slot in as the creative fulcrum or drift wide to exploit pockets of space? The chatter suggests manager Michael Beale has been circling ideas, and GAULD's versatility might just provide the spark the team has been craving. For now, all eyes are on the official confirmation, but the burble around Glasgow's football terraces is undeniable. Ryan GAULD, the boy from Dundee with a touch as light as a feather and eyes always scanning for the perfect pass, may be about to write a new chapter and it seems it will be in royal blue. Rangers fans, brace yourselves. Greetings, fans. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as it's greatly appreciated by Rangers FC. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments section below. Until the next video, stay tuned.